Welcome to Hollywood Hemptress Hour. We have a great show. Today we have Dr. Bernard Alvarez from the Global Illumination Council. He will be speaking on cannabis use and developing the light body and the ascension in 2012. Stay tuned.
Imagine a town where there are no small joints, just small stoners, where Kush is a girl's best friend, and law-breaking is the new liberty. It's the Hollywood Hemptress Hour, hosted by your honey blunt Hemptress, Terry Joyce. Yeah!
Well, very excited today because it's 2 days after the presidential election. I don't know exactly when this is going to air, but today we're taping it 2 days after the presidential election, as well as the results of 2 states legalizing marijuana for recreational use, Colorado and Washington. And I am so excited to hear that. It's exciting to what's going to happen. It's exciting that there'll be new jobs and new opportunities and a booming and growing economy that is much needed in this country right now. Now, I have to say that I have worked in the marijuana industry, and I have worked in the illegal aspect of it. I've actually been, well, not terrible. I haven't sold, or I'm not like a drug cartel or anything like that, obviously. But I have trimmed weed, and I've trimmed weed up in the Humboldt County area. And here's a statistic. Here's a statistic. I can't say a statistic. Here's a statistic. Here's a statistic. Here's the truth. $300 million a year is made in illegal sales of marijuana. Now, my question is, when you work out there on the hill, there's no bathroom, all right? You got it. They dig this hole. They have this silly little porta potty thing over it, and you know what? It's not fun. So I'm thinking, if you're making that much money, how about a porta potty, all right? Give me a porta potty, okay? That's the one thing. Number one. Number two, don't really have a complaint, just as a personal experience of mine. Trimming weed is not as easy as I think it is. Yeah, I think you're gonna cut it away. Don't even really understand how it works. Well, I was a crappy weed trimmer at first, really crappy, and I almost got fired. And I'm thinking, oh my God, how embarrassing! How embarrassing is it to get fired from an illegal job? So that was another experience. I got much better. One thing that I don't think people really realize is that the market is so extreme right now. There's so much marijuana being grown that the competition is really stiff, and you got to make sure that your bud looks really tight. Now, another comment, there's a few things out there that if we did legalize it, we wouldn't have Mexican drug cartels growing here in California. Yeah, they're there. I want to know how they get across the border. I guess that's okay. But I'm beginning to think that our government might actually be in on it because, Eric Holder was known to actually sell arms to the drug dealers. That's the Fast and Furious. So basically, think about it. We not only they're on our soil, but we give them the guns to protect themselves. Only in America, the land of opportunity. Stay tuned. Next, we have Dejay Kuti coming up, giving us the Compassion Flower Report. Stay tuned.
I am not a stoner. I am nothing you've heard. I'm you. We may not be happy with the world that we live in. Politicians who believe in criminalization, making deals with big pharma, and trading big money behind the scenes is not a way to stay in office. I will go to bat for you. I will go to Burning Man and smoke my brains out. I'm Terry Joyce, and I approve this message. I'm you, and also, I'm a witch.
back. And online we have Dejay Kuti with the Compassion Flower Report. Welcome back to the show, Dejay.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's good to be on with you.
I'm glad to hear it. So exciting stuff happened since.
Yeah, well, that's generally these days. If you're the kind of person that pays attention to elections, and of course this one was a big one. It wasn't an off-year election or a local election, or this was the big general election. But yeah, very exciting for lots of different reasons. Of course, we're going to have Obama as president again, which, as a political activist, it just lets me know which direction I'm going. It's one of the very frustrating things that I've been dealing with pretty much ever since we had that action up at Nancy Pelosi's office, is that everyone was on hold and taking the big breath because, first it was the Republican convention, and then it's the Democratic convention, and it's the debates, and just having the attention of anyone in a federal office for the last few months has been just about impossible. And of course, we didn't know what we were going to be dealing with, but we do. And so it lets us know, where we're going now and which congressional members are back and which ones are new. But yeah, we now have 2 states that have decided to completely legalize marijuana, and it's very interesting for a lot of different really big reasons. There's the California aspect, which is, California is kind of known as the state that kind of sets some precedent, and the fact that now
Colorado
has done it is, I think, a very interesting social dynamic for the entire country.
Yes.
And it'll be very interesting to see how the federal government now deals with that. And, my understanding is Colorado's legalization law is, it's a sound law, and the people there are very happy with it. And my understanding of Washington's law is that it's much more cumbersome, and it gives what some think of a little bit too much power and control to law enforcement.
But this is the Washington one.
Yes.
Okay. And
yeah,
what aspect is there more control happening with the Washington law that you feel?
The law enforcement basically has much more authority. They can do different checks and things like this. I'm not sure exactly all the details on it, but when I was reading criticisms of that law, the main one was that law enforcement had way too much power in this law. So we'll see. I mean, this is where we'll see enforcement. Of course, the loser that night was Oregon. Theirs failed. We've added one more medical marijuana state. Which is also very exciting. We've added Massachusetts, and Arkansas is lost. However, they are immediately licking their wounds, saying that they will change some of the language and they're going to resubmit it. So that one state, that would be the first state in the Deep South if they pass it. Alabama is actually going to be hearing it in their state house next week. And Kentucky, the patients in Kentucky have drafted one to get it on the ballot in 2013. So the momentum just continues, and it really forced me to kind of count up. And we now have 18 medical marijuana states and the District of Columbia.
Wow.
And we're just rolling along, and now 2 legal states. So yeah, very exciting times, very dynamic to see where this is going to go. Certainly I'll be encouraging everybody now that we know that it's going to be Obama in the White House for the next 4 years instead of running for the hills.
I think not ready to marry a Canadian. I
know. Yeah, I think instead of running for the hills, I think
I'm out of the United States.
Right. I was ready to go bananas in Ecuador. I was, we were headed out the door.
I'm with you. I'm like,
right. Ecuador's chill.
The border. I'm like,
right.
Let me into Mexico, please. So
yeah. So yeah, that's now that we know, I think instead of running for the hills, it's time to run to the hill. And at some point, I think we're going to need to make a really, really large showing in Washington. We may have to have, medical marijuana week where we just encourage everybody for 1 week to go to Washington and have lots of different actions and lots of different things going on, and we're going to have to make a showing to President Obama. I feel much safer with us doing that than, like I said, with Romney. It would have been run for the hills, just get the hell out of the way.
Grab your and get out of here.
Oh, I was telling everybody underground. Everyone's like, what do we do underground? If it's Romney, honey, just hide. But really the main difference between the Democrats and the Republicans on this issue is when we have a Republican administration, we see more smash and grab raids. When we have a Democratic administration, we see more...
They knock on the door, excuse me.
Yeah, we see more things like the bank accounts and... Yeah, and the IRS, man, that's what it is with Democrats, tax and spend. So I'm not surprised under Obama why the IRS hasn't been such a big force in it these last 4 years.
Dijay, we need to wrap it up here in a moment, in 2 minutes, but one last question I want to ask you is, how do you think the progression of the Colorado and Washington states going to affect California perhaps treating our dispensaries? Do you think they're going to maybe pull out the dogs and we're going to have a little...
Well, I think that's the sociological experiment, for the first time, California hasn't set the precedent. I'm really kind of glad California wasn't the first state to legalize it. I always said, let the burden be on some other state. It's not like we're the only ones who want to. So if somebody else can, if some other state can, because it's so expensive to put something on the ballot in California. You know what I mean? It's just, I could go into that. It's like a whole other thesis. But, so another state did it. And so, we're going to see how the feds shift their resources, which is why I'm encouraging everybody, anyone who got my email today, those who have signed up will see, the goal right now is contact your congressional member and let them know how you feel about the federal interference.
Wonderful.
And then contact President Obama and tell him you want him to uphold that word that, federal resources weren't going to be spent by the Department of Justice, and that you've been in contact with your congressional member about this as well. Because that's the game that we play between trying to talk to our president, because they're always going to throw you back to Congress. So you might as well call your congressperson and then call President Obama and tell him you already told your congressperson and that you're not going to stop until this changes. And that's how we're going to change this. Everyone's going to have to do this.
Wonderful. Thank you so much today. And where can our listeners find you again? Give us your website.
CannabisSavesLives.org. And they can follow us on Twitter and sign up and follow us there. PAN for Compassion. @Pan for Compassion.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Terry.
Thank you. That was Dijay Kuti with the Patient Advocacy Network. Let me say that again. That was Dijay Kuti with the Compassion Flower Report. And we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
As many of you know, it is the year 2012, and we have been waiting very much, quite a bit now, for this wonderful cosmic experience to come upon us. And what makes 2012 so special is not necessarily what Hollywood has brought us to believe. It's not necessarily the end of the Mayan calendar. It is more of a cosmic timeline that is happening. It refers to a time in human history where the human body, the human mind, and spirit are all evolving. And we are going to and are going through a giant leap in spiritual and emotional and physical evolution. Is that a majority of who your essence is connected to the rest of the universe, and we don't get to see that. You don't get to see your connection to the planets, the stars, your higher self, your connection to the source from which you come from. What is the light body, and why are we choosing to awaken it now? It is, for lack of a better term, the chi of the universe. The light body is your Merkaba. It is your vehicle to transcend physical manifestation and move into higher realms of consciousness. But let's visualize the solar system or the Milky Way galaxy. Let's visualize all the planets and all the lights and all the stars, and everything is all swirling around, the center of the galaxy. And each of those arms has a multitude of galaxies, a multitude of planets, and on those planets a multitude of living beings, whether they be human or not, whether they be transdimensional or not. And what the light body is our connection to all of that. This is the time that we are choosing to do this. Many of us have chosen to incarnate at this time for this very reason. Why are we doing it now? Because of the placement of what is happening with our galaxy, with our cosmos, where the universe is shifting.
Anybody falling? Anybody feel they're falling?
Welcome back to Hollywood Hemptress Hour. In the video that you just saw, that was Dr. Bernard Alvarez from his Lightworker series that he has right now. And I'm very excited to welcome to the show Dr. Bernard Alvarez. He is the founder of GIC.org, which is the Global Illumination Council. And so, Dr. Welcome to the show. I'm really happy to see you.
I'm really happy to see you too, Terry. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this kind of technology now, where we can literally. I mean, you're in Virginia, right, or Roanoke area?
Roanoke, Virginia.
Yeah, and so I'm here, and here we are, face to face.
I love it. I love it. Literally face to face.
Right, right. So the reason why I brought you on the show, first of all. I have I'm a part of the Global Illumination Council, and I'm very much into what is happening right now in 2012. I mean, obviously there's a lot of change happening, not only in America but really around the world, which it's hard to deny that these kind of things aren't really happening. And there's also a feeling, a lot of people feel that we are moving into a new consciousness or a new way of being that is that's synchronized with some of the prophecies like the Mayan calendar and what this year particularly symbolizes. So that being said, could you let our viewers know or understand what this is all about, and what is the term that people talk about so much called the ascension?
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I want to tell you how happy we are that you are a member of the Global Illumination Council. You're one of my favorite people that I get to talk with on a regular basis, so I'm very proud to have people like yourself who are members, and active members at that. As well, when we're talking about, I call it the awakening for lack of a better term. There's really no one particular term that anybody uses, but if we were to look at, let's say, look at what's happening in Egypt, look what's happening in the Occupy movement and around the world, and that is only the activist aspect of it. What I love about the Global Illumination Council is that we are seeing people that are having spontaneous awakenings, and they're just finding this place, and they're saying to us, "Oh my gosh, I've been feeling this, I've been thinking this, and I thought I was alone."
Mm-hmm.
And we're very lucky that, we have a place like GIC where people realize that they're not alone, that they have the ability to contact and connect with people who are going through the same process. So to deny the fact that there is something happening, I attribute it to many factors. We talked a little bit about the Mayan prophecies. However, there are native cultures from around the world that are talking about this time and this place in 2012. And everyone from the Dogon to the Mamo to the Siberian shamans, to the shamans basically around the world that have been waiting for this time when humanity would awaken to their higher self, to an awakening to ascension, and that's leading me into what you said earlier. The ascension process for me, and again, this is only my definition, is that whole connection with your higher self. What is the higher self? Is probably people are going to be going, what's he talking about, the higher self? Well, if you have ever, and being that we're on the show, I can say this, if you ever gotten so high that you got it all, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I get it.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the higher self. And I don't mean that, quote unquote high, the higher self of consciousness. You've reduced the ego, you've gotten away out of the norm, you've gotten out of your day-to-day rat race life, and you've gotten to a place where your mind can just calm down and listen to your spirit. That is your higher self. And so many of us are going through that right now. And I have to say that, marijuana was one of the, or cannabis, I will start using that term now, cannabis was a very big factor for me when I went through that process as a young teenager. And I know many people that have had the awakening or the ascension process begin through the use of cannabis. So it's all tied in together. It's all tied in together, and it's going to be a better world, and cannabis has a part in that.
Well, I'm so glad to hear you say that, because a lot of times there is I'm finding, I look at different sites and things like this, and other people have different opinions on, drug use, specifically cannabis or some of the, mushrooms, ayahuasca. There's times where I hear that DMT and using these kind of plants that, of course, like people like Terrence McKenna and Graham Hancock and different people will, say it's part of our evolutionary awakening or enlightenment. Yes. And then you'll hear the opposite of it, that you can't reach ascension or what they say transcending into the higher dimensions, like the fifth dimensional frequency and things like this, if you are using these particular plants to check out, or that you might have an addiction and things like this. So there's a lot of negativity against it. And yet, at the same time, I will say in my own personal experience that cannabis was a trigger for me to start to have an awakening and to look at things and say, wait a second, what's happening? I'm seeing something different that I had not seen before, and I can't think that this plant or this thing that I'm smoking is taking me so off chart that it has to be leading me somewhere.
Absolutely. For me, what I feel that, well, I think it's very fair to say to observe the entire consciousness movement, the awakening movement, the light worker movement, whatever you want to call it, is that many that have been around for a while. There are websites and there are speakers, there are authors that have been around, since the 80s, 90s, and whatnot, but they're in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. And they saw what happened with the hippie movement. Mm-hmm. They saw that drugs did create a problem in the hippie movement, that it became all about the drugs and not the issue at one point. And that's, again, this is my perception. Mm-hmm. So I can see where some people might be, oh, well, it's all about getting high. It's all about, no. For me, addiction is an addiction, and, mm-hmm. and we, what I am seeing is that many of us who, like myself, I've had addictions in my 20s. I'm 45 now. In my 20s, I was addicted to certain substances, not marijuana or cannabis. I was more into the hard drugs and whatnot, but I overcome that. I overcame that and found a balance, and I think that's what we're talking about now is creating that balance, creating a balance of what works, what doesn't work for us. We're basically in a new field, a new paradigm, and I talk about that a lot. So we're trying to find our legs. What is this new paradigm? Is drugs going to be involved? Is cannabis going to be involved? How much of it will be a part of it? You know, how much is government going to be a part of it? How much of it is going to be money oriented? So we're all still trying to figure all this out. But for those who say that cannabis is wrong or it's bad, you know, I find that many of them, if you look at their background, either were drug addicts themselves or they come from a very right-wing Christian-oriented base. Very closed-minded. I think it's a very closed-minded uh, approach to what cannabis is. I think it's a very closed-minded approach to possibilities. In other words, we have people that, you know, and this is not to be negative toward any recovery, people in recovery or anything like that. However, there are a lot of people who are in AA and NA, and they're scared to death of even touching it again. Many shouldn't. Trust me, I'm sure there are people out there that should not be smoking or drinking.
Yeah.
However, there are probably many that can get away with it, that can find that balance. So to say that DMT or LSD or mushrooms or cannabis or anything like that, you're following a history that is only 100 years old. I mean, if that. I mean, as far as like problems in society, whereas drugs, cannabis, psilocybin, all of these things have been used for thousands and thousands of years. I have a paper here, and actually I'll quote Wikipedia, and I know people are like iffy about that, but you can look it up yourself and research it. That cannabis has been used in spiritual Vedic Hindus with Vedic Hindus since 2000 BCE. So we're talking 4,000, more than 4,000 years. So if we messed it up in the last 100 years, we need to ask ourselves what we're doing wrong about that. And as far as not allowing it to help you with ascension, I think it's very much a personal journey. I'll be honest with you. If I smoke marijuana and it's during the day, it doesn't work for me. I can only smoke cannabis at night. For some reason, during the day, I get anxious and I get nervous, and it doesn't work for me. However, if I plan, let's say, well, actually, this will be about the time I'd smoke.
Light up.
If I plan a 7 p.m. meditation and I take a couple puffs, it will energize my meditation. It will clarify me. It'll bring me down from that crazy long day that I've had. So again, it's just a matter of, what works for you. And I respect it. I mean, if it doesn't work for some people, that's fine. But to make a blanket statement, put that fear, to me, that's fear.
Yeah.
And fear does not work for me in this realm of consciousness. If you're going to say to me, if I smoke marijuana, I won't ascend, that's like saying, well, I ate a hamburger, I can't ascend. Or I smoked a cigarette, I can't ascend.
Yeah.
Or I watched Will and Grace last week on UPN or whatever. I mean, some people are very controlling and they
it's very
want
Christian
people.
light, though, isn't it? I mean,
Thank
that
you.
kind
It's
of
evangelizing.
yeah. It's an easy thing to fall into, even if you're working away from it, because sometimes like I have that little voice saying the same thing. Well, you shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done that. Well, look what you're doing over here. Like, are you at this bar drinking right now? I have a little inner dialogue like going on. But we need to take a really quick break. We're going to take a little moment here, show a little video clip, and we will be right back. Stay tuned.
I want to want to tell Colorado, shame on you for legalizing the marijuana. Shame on you. Shame on you, Rocky Mountain High. And Washington State legalized it too. Do you really think this country was not founded on marijuana. This country was founded on good old boys drinking their Jack Daniels. Okay? That's what this country was voted upon. You know those people out there who smoke marijuana, you know what they do. They get out there, they smoke marijuana, they stop taking baths and stuff like that, having their parties and protesting against the government. You know what? Watch it. Those people who smoke marijuana, they're out of control. And then they're gonna have their parties and their smoke houses and their freaking like opium. They're probably gonna have some sort of like satanic orgies going on there. I think that's just disgusting. You people. And then they say, oh, and then there's medical marijuana. Oh, and then they say it's to help. It's to help people with cancer. No, it's not. It's just your excuse to smoke a doob. Now, at least Oregon got it right. Oregon didn't vote for marijuana. But I got to tell them they need to get a razor because some of those men need to shave their beards off. Big old hairy men out there. Hairy men with beards. You know what? Shave your beard off. All right? It's not American to have a beard like that. You're looking like one of those hippies out there that go out there and protest for the Occupy movement. And that's what I don't understand about the Occupy movement. Occupy what? Occupy what? Occupy Wall Street. I saw the movie. I don't know what they're complaining about. I thought the movie was great.
I have the freedom to think however I want. This is the United States of America, and I think that I'll let Terry do the thinking for me. Terry Joyce puts the probe back in prohibition. Terry Joyce knows more about conspiracy theories than anyone in the United States of America, and that's because she makes up most of them. Terry Joyce can host a show like no one's ever seen, but that's only because no one's ever seen her host a show before. That's why I'm asking you to watch the Hollywood Hemptress Hour with Terry Joyce, and you can trust me because I'm a warlock. Witch's honor.
Anybody falling? Anybody feel they're falling?
So we're back with Dr. Bernard Alvarez with GIC.org, the Global Illumination Council, which is a spiritual community online that you can check out and get involved with. So thank you so much for sticking in here with us, Dr. Bernard Alvarez. And a question I have for you, now that I've mentioned the Global Illumination Council, can you give our viewers an example or just a description of what the organization is, what people can find when they come to the site, and and how they can get involved and be supported?
Very good. Thank you for asking that. The GIC is an intentional community. I love that word. It's an intentional community of people who are beginning to awaken, and we also have people that have been around for dozens and dozens of years, as far as like have already awakened. It is about sharing your knowledge. It's about sharing your experiences. We are a spiritual activist community, so we're very involved with a lot of the activism that is going on around the world. But I will say the most important part, and the one thing that we all have in common at the GIC.org, is that we realize that we are responsible for the next generation. We are responsible for each other. We are responsible for humanity as a whole, being a part of the humanity community. So it's teachers, it's spiritualists, it's pagans, it's activists, political activists, human rights activists, gay activists, I mean truth activists, conspiracy theories everything is involved, and basically it's just everyone who has found a certain truth that we need to share with other people. And for those that are wanting to share that truth and or are looking for that truth, it gives us the ability to support one another. We were very lucky. A good example is we were very lucky during the Egyptian revolution to have someone on the ground there as it was happening. We were very lucky to have people that have been speakers in metaphysics for years sharing their videos. We have yoga classes on there. I mean, so everything you can think of, from yoga classes to pagan classes to activism classes, it's all there, and it's all being shared by everyone who's a part of it. It's completely free. Yes, of course, we ask for a donation, but that's up to you. You can always click 0 when it tells you how much you want to donate. But it is community-based, it's community-run, and community-funded. We don't have any big sponsors or anything like that, and I think that's the most important thing, is that we don't get caught up in that whole paradigm of corporate sponsorships or anything like that. So we can do and say what we want, and it's one of those kind of places. Our goal is really to be an umbrella community for people that who have seen the truth. We have people that have been involved in the military, who have seen some crazy stuff. We have people that have been involved in government and big business and esoteric secret societies, all of that stuff. And it's to share what we've learned and what we can get out of it, and really just be an empowered human being, and to share your knowledge once you become empowered. So, by all means, come and join us at gic.org. It's free to join, and we really appreciate any support anybody could give us. So thank you.
What I really like about your site, and what I like about what you do, is that you do live coverage of immediate events, and
Yeah.
usually they're the ones that the mainstream media is not covering. For example, the protest and the revolution that's happening in Spain, you were doing a live stream broadcast of it that day, where when I looked on MSNBC or any of those type of channels, it was not even being mentioned.
Absolutely. We're friends with a lot of them. As a matter of fact, we had, for a while there, Courtney Kissme was on the ground, and Courtney Kissme was hanging out with Luke Rakowski and Tim Pool, and she would stream, we'd show her stream. We're always showing Tim Pool or Luke Rakowski streams for the things like that. We love to have, at that moment, coverage. I think it's very important. We also do radio shows. We have wonderful authors and speakers and teachers from around the world. Every Monday we do a radio show. We have a webcast twice a month. So we're always trying to keep everyone engaged in things that they can't find anywhere else, especially on mainstream media.
Absolutely. And I also really want to say, I love the fact that you did get involved with Occupy where you're at, and it was exciting, because a lot of times you go to spiritual sites, or you see people and they're, but when you just go, okay, well, they have a show, or maybe I don't know, but when you really see somebody out there doing it, that guy really is participating on all levels of change. Rupert Declo just had a question that he wants me to ask you. I'm going to put it
Yes.
in his. He says, ask about Ayn Rand's philosophy. Do you have any?
My only comment is I think that Anton LaVey read her books and created the Church of Satan out of it. She is the epitome of Satanism as far as I'm concerned.
Well, what's interesting about Anton LaVey is that, and also the Church of Scientology, Ron L. Hubbard. I used to live in Pasadena, and there's a whole story about the two of them who met in Pasadena,
Oh, yeah.
and both of them said, well, how are we going to, we could make money if we both created religions, and
Yep.
so they did.
They were very involved. Anton LaVey and L. Ron Hubbard were involved with the guy. I forgot whether he created the nuclear missile or something like that. I forgot what the band's name was. But yeah, they were all good buddies hanging out together, getting high and doing witchcraft together. I have nothing against witchcraft. I practice paganism, but that's black magic.
Yeah. Yeah, which is is an interesting, I feel, subject to bring up, because I've been having feelings that that's what's been happening with our government, that, that's why our religions say, oh, this is evil, blah, 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 because there's a natural alchemy that actually exists in the universe that most of us are not privy to understanding, so it gives the other people an edge. Am I correct on that?
You're right on the key there, and actually you're right on the key on why I started the GIC. I've been involved in the occult and secret societies and what that for more than half of my life, and I got so sick and tired of them saying, oh, you can't share that information. You can't share that information. They're not initiated. I'm like, you know what? Everyone deserves to know this knowledge. It's not good. It's not evil. It's how you use it that makes it good or evil. It's just like any technology. So I was so aggravated, and I will say it on your show, the Gardnerian witches drove me nuts because they would call me and attack me and say, why are you sharing this knowledge? It's a secret. No, it's general universal knowledge that everyone deserves to know. It's general human alchemy, energetic alchemy. It's work that we all need to be aware of. And now that we're in this time of transition, these are tools that people need to get through this craziness we're going through. To deny we're not going through a crazy period or era of humanity, well, you must be watching too much TV to not see it, or mainstream TV, I should say. But we're going through a very difficult time, and we're going through a transition. And in order to go through that transition smoothly, grounded, and to really come out of it okay, all of these tools are very, very important. All these alchemical, magical, pagan, whatever you want to call it. People need to know these things. And as far as our government is concerned, they've been using it for thousands of years. They've been using it in America since the beginning. So now it's your turn to learn what they've been doing and empower yourself. And, use the tools for good. It's just technology. It's nothing evil. It's nothing good or bad. Anyone in magic will tell you there is no good and evil. It's just a matter of how you apply it. So, yes, our government is using it, and you can see it everywhere. You can see it on the dollar bill. You can see it in the layout of Washington, D.C. You see it in the Vatican. You see it in London. It's everywhere. You cannot deny the occult. It's a part of the power elite. So now it's our turn.
We only have like a couple more minutes, but I just really, and I want to have you back on again if you'll come back sometime. But one thing that I want to just have a description for people to understand, what is the light body and why is that so important to our ascension?
Very, very important key. The light body, to synopsize, and to make it quick because we only have a couple of minutes, the light body is what you feel when you're relaxed. A lot of people, hey, you know what? When you're tripping on acid, when you see those lights and those streams, that's real. I hate to say, well, no, I don't hate to say, I am proud to say that when you are on a trip or something like that, and you're starting to see the lights and the trails, that means you've gone beyond the veil. You're seeing what we cannot see. That's the light body. All of the energy. It usually lives, an inch or two out of your body. It's the vibration. It's your chi. It's your life force. That's what it is. And when you become aware of that life force and you allow that life force to really flow easily in your body, you're gonna have better health. You're gonna have better clarity, and you're gonna have better life. Period. A better life. So by all means, figure it out. Learn how to connect with your light body. Wake it up. All it takes is a few deep breaths. That's all it really does take. Start off with taking a few deep breaths. And if that doesn't work, take a couple puffs afterward. And then, but take the few deep breaths and focus on it.
Yeah, when you say a couple puffs, like, oh, I'm finding my light body. Well, I want to thank you, and also you have a light body series that's online too that people can check out on the site as well as on YouTube. So,
I have a free series called Awakening the Light Body. It's like a 7-hour series. It's like 8 classes. Just, you can do it one step at a time or watch the whole thing.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being on the show, and just happy holidays. And I'll be hanging with you for the. Are you going to do anything special for when 2012 on the very day?
Yes,
I'll be there. I'll be there. I'm going to be there.
That's good. Yes,
Right.
we are going to do a special for 12/21/2012.
All
So
right.
check us out on GIC.org.
All
Thank you,
right.
Terry. It's always a pleasure. I love you.
I love you too.
Bye-bye.
That was Dr. Bernard Alvarez with the GIC.org, and we'll be right back with Shiloh Jinglefoot.
Well, it's the day after the presidential election, and I have to tell you that I am shocked. I am just shocked that we have elected this man for 2 terms. I thought 1 year was bad enough, but now we have him for 4 more years. We don't even know what his intention is. We don't know what he's going to do in this world. You know, he did the whole Obamacare. Well, I got to tell you, if you don't have enough money to pay for your own insurance, well, then you're just not really living the American dream, because there's a problem with that. Everybody that I know in my neighborhood, we all have insurance. My husband has insurance, my little boy has. We're all insured. We're all really insured. I'm just going to enjoy this donut here. I don't want you to think I am not, because I tell people this, I don't want to be shocking to them. When I go to curbs, you know, I tell my friends, I go, why don't you vote for Mitt Romney? I mean, at least he's close to being Christian. He's Mormon. I mean, like, at least there's Jesus in there somewhere. I mean, with Barack, I mean, with the name Hussein, I mean, what kind of thing what does that mean? What does that say? Is he Muslim? Is he, I mean, what religion is he? I mean, that's not even Jewish. Okay? It's not even Jewish. I don't even know. He's our president now. I just don't even believe he's our, they say that every president is somehow related to one another. Like there's something where they go, oh, they all have the same bloodline, but this guy doesn't have the same bloodline. And I think we need to check that out, because there's something really, really wrong with that. Now, I'm not racist. I'm not racist because I know that I need to be a good Christian, and I need to believe in Jesus just like everybody else. As a matter of fact, my little boy, Billy Madison, well, I don't mind if he brings over like the little brown boy that comes over to the house. I don't mind him. But what I did think what was interesting was that his name was Fernando, and I said, well, that's a real name? I thought that was an ABBA song.
Anybody falling? Anybody feel they're falling?
Right now we have, back again by popular demand, we have Shiloh Jinglefoot giving us another G-licious dishes recipe for all of us to have forever and ever. Welcome to the show, Shiloh.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Terry.
Great. So, it's like a weird lag. I'm like, now what do I say? Let's hear you again. So what do we have? What do we have for our special recipe today? Because I am hungry. Okay, what is it?
Oh, if you are hungry, this might not be the recipe for you, because this is a chillax, enjoy your life. Remember that there are good things everywhere if you just stop and take a break kind of recipe.
I like that.
This is called the Jungle Love Fruitopia Smoothie, and it pretty much is as awesome as it sounds. It's 4 cups of frozen berries of your choice, whether you like blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, whatever, strawberries, or a combination of all of those things. You put 4 cups of those berries into your blender. You put 1 cup of powdered sugar into your blender. You put anywhere between 1/4 to 1/2 cup of jungle juice, which is the marijuana soaked into alcohol and then strained out, and that's called what I call jungle juice. And you put 2 cups of milk, 1 cup of orange juice, and 8 to 12 ice cubes. And you throw that all into a blender, and you go, and you make it go until it's creamy enough for you, and then you pour it into a glass, and then you sit wherever you sit, and you say, life is good and easy, and I don't have to worry about nothing. No worries. And that's what I call the Jungle of Fruitopia smoothie. And you can take it anywhere you want. So, like, you can put it in the to-go cup and, you know, drink it all day. Nobody knows what's actually in it. And being that you only put such a small amount of jungle juice in it, well, you know, it's not, you're not getting drunk. You know, like you're not going to get drunk off of the alcohol, but you will get high off of the THC that is in the alcohol. And it's pretty, and it just smells like alcohol mostly.
Oh, that sounds like it. That's like that. Just I think that if you opened up your own smoothie shop with jungle juice, you would put Jamba Juice out of business.
I really think that it's true, and I feel like it's actually. I'm talking with a partner of mine who has a few hookah shops here in Colorado, and if the law goes as planned, I could be opening up a ganja restaurant right beside him, and and we could be in business together, and then there you can be smoking tobacco or ganja and having ganja treats waited on you.
Oh.
Doesn't that sound blissful?
It does. It does sound blissful, and I'm about to move to Colorado. I know.
I'm telling you, for real. It might, we might get a great mass entrance to Colorado because our laws are so right. But may we be an example to our country that, this isn't as bad as everybody has made it out to be, and it could change and help our world. Amen.
Oh, well. We always knew that. We knew that. That's why we're here.
We knew it, but the rest of the world isn't. So, that's what we're doing. We're preaching the message.
So what's now, before we go, and I know we probably just have a couple more minutes to wrap it up, jungle juice. You mentioned jungle juice. This is the first time that...
Okay, so how you make jungle juice is real super simple. So you put anywhere between 1/8 of a bag to an ounce of weed. If you do 1/8 of a bag, I wouldn't do any more than 2 cups of alcohol. And the alcohol needs to be more than 45 proof. So really try to get above 90, and you'll get the best bang for your buck. If you use 151 rum, it definitely more triglyceride. I don't know all the science about it, but more of those little gummy crystals, come on. And so, the higher the alcohol grade, the more you'll get out of it. But I pretty much just put it into a jar. I put the weed into a jar, add the alcohol, and I put it underneath my bed. And I let it do its thing for at least 2 months. I usually go at least 6, like I have a batch going, and then I'm using one, I rotate it. So I'm never really without. But I let it go for 6 months, and then I strain it, and then it's a super black, you can't see through it, alcoholic beverage. And really, a half a shot does the trick for me. And a full shot will and you don't feel drunk. It's definitely not a drunk high.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Wow. Nice. Well, thank you so much for calling in with the recipe. And you know what? For your listeners out there, you can find out. Maybe you missed something, or you don't want to go back on your YouTube to listen to this over again. You want to see it in print. You can check it out at ganjalicious.com on the blog. Get the recipe and be well. Thank you so much for calling in, Shiloh, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right. Thank you so much. You guys have a great week.
Thank you.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Peace and love. That was Shiloh Jinglefoot giving a wonderful recipe today. I also want to shout out to Dr. Bernard Alvarez for being on the show. He was really wonderful, and check him out at thegic.org. And Dejay Kuti as well with the Patient Advocacy Network giving us the Compassion Flower Report. She's at CannabisSavesLives.org. Give her a donation. Keep her going. That's our show today. We'll see you next time.